Whitney was that girl.
Ladies and gentlemen, Whitney Houston.
While there were superstars prior to Whitney Houston, and many black women who made huge milestones prior to her as well, it was Whitney who changed the game visually for black women and black artists. Artists like Sheila E., Tina Turner, Atlantic Starr were all getting somewhat play on MTV, but black women were still very underrepresented. When Whitney's video for How Will I Know finally hit the rotation on MTV in the early 80s, this catapulted her career and carved a bigger space for black women on MTV and visually across the board. Now, prior to this, Whitney's debut album had already went double platinum. She was a star, but MTV still resisted for some reason.
The only few black artists that one does see are on about 2:30 in the morning or to around 6.
While yes, Whitney was a star, Whitney met resistance. The history of How Will I Know is complex. While this took Whitney from star to superstar, and a larger white audience finally started to take notice, her black audience became frustrated.
And to the black ear, these records were not natural R&B records. So for the black audience, the perspective was in the community that Whitney had sold out.
Things like, why did Houston wear a blonde wig? Why was her skin lightened?
The image was starting to become very imagey. It was the look, it was the hair, it was the makeup. And it's How Will I Know. I looked the craziest. I had on like all kinds of hair colors mixed in with other hair. It was just wild.
Whitney Houston, along with Michael Jackson, created an avenue for black artists to appear on MTV. Seeing them visually was important at the time.
Gestures and things became very important for video purposes. A video killed a radio star. Well, it kind of happened.
MJ and Whitney are the only two black artists to appear in the top 10 for the highest selling albums of all time, with Thriller and The Bodyguard. Plain and short, Whitney was that girl.
She's the first and only artist to have 7 consecutive #1 hits.
Iconic voice.
You have all you dreamed of.
Was she selling out or was she paving the way